Welcome everyone. In this session, let us see the various static overcurrent relays. So what is meant by a static relay? So we have seen the classification of relays wherein which we have first generation, second generation, third generation relay. First generation was the electromechanical, next was the static, and third one is the numerical. So the static relay is the one which uses a static circuit to give a signal for the tripping of the circuit breaker. So what is done here is, in this particular static type relays, the comparison or the measurement of the electrical quantities, be it either voltage or current, whichever is required. In this case, it is current because over current, no? So we are measuring the current. So the comparison or measurement of the current is performed by a static circuit. So it will compare and say if it is high, then it will send a signal and the circuit breaker is going to trip. So the static relay, it uses semiconductor diodes, it uses transistors, Zener diodes, thyristors as its components. Mainly it uses thyristors. So this static type overcurrent relays, okay, it can achieve a better characteristics compared to your electromechanical relays. That is because, see, we have seen in the case of electromechanical type relays, the operating time is given as t equal to k by I to the power n minus 1. So this n decides, n and k are constants. So this n determines how inverse your characteristics has to be, and this particular k, it decides your operating time. Okay, that the k value is set based on your operating time. So the this, even if you approximate, it can approximate it to k I to the power n. So this n, in the case of electromechanical type relays, it can have a maximum value up to 2. It cannot go beyond that. So you might have seen in extremely inverse, it is I square minus 1. So whereas in the case of static relays, we can get a characteristics wherein the operating time is given by k I to the power n, where n can have a value greater than 2. Okay, n can have a value which is greater than 2. That can be achieved in the case of a static type relays. So you will almost get a straight line characteristics if we use this type of relays. So the other advantages of using a static relays are, first thing is the burden on your CT is very less. So you can use a smaller CT. The second one is the space required is small compared to the other relays, because static components require less space, right? So a single phase relay is half, and the three phase relay requires about 1/3 of the space compared to your electromechanical relays. Next thing is, you can very easily set the value. You can reset also to a very quickly, and you get a accurate time correct characteristics. You don't have the mechanical inertia, because you don't have the mechanical parts, right? Moving, wear and tear, nothing is there. So you don't have a mechanical inertia and bouncing of the contacts. So it will lead to a very fast operation, and a long life and less maintenance is required, and it was in a closed format, right, the relay. So it is protected against dust and pollution. So you have different overcurrent relays. The static relays are available as instantaneous relay, definite time, inverse time relay, and a directional overcurrent relay. So first we'll see the instantaneous relay. So static instantaneous relay. So this is the block diagram of it. You can observe you have an input transformer, rectifier and filter, level detector, amplifier, output device, and which gives a trip signal to the circuit breaker. So from where does this input transformer get the signal? Here it is written input current. So this current is derived from the main CT. Clear? So from the CT it is given to the, it is not directly given to the relay. So you don't have the mechanical parts, right? It is not directly given to the relay. In between you have a transformer. So this transformer has an air gap in order to provide a linear voltage and current relationship, and it has a provision for tapping. It has a provision for tappings at the secondary of the transformer. So the output of the transformer is then rectified and it is filtered. It is rectified and then it is filtered in order to ensure high speed of operation. Then we will have a limiter. Limiter is nothing but the Zener diode, which will limit the magnitude to some value, magnitude of the quantity to some value. And if portion of the measured quantity is being given as input to the level detector, otherwise your comparator. So what it does is it will just compare two quantities. One is the already set value, the other one is the output of the rectifier filter. So the two quantities are being measured and whatever is the signal. So if when on comparison, if we think that our output of the rectifier is exceeding the preset value or a pickup value, then it sends a signal to the amplifier and the amplifier will give it to the output device, which in turn will give it to the which in turn will send a trip signal to your circuit breaker. So this is how an instantaneous overcurrent relay will operate. Next we'll see a definite time overcurrent relay. We know that in the case of definite time relays, irrespective of the magnitude of the fault current, the operating time of the relay is going to be same, right? So in the case of static type relays, you have to set the time. So how are you going to set a time? You are going to set a time using this timing circuit. Okay, using the timing circuit you set the time. So this timing circuit consists resistor and the capacitor, which acts as a charging unit. So what is done here? So here again the current from the CT is fed to the transformer. This transformer has a number of tappings on the secondary. The output of this can be taken from any of the tappings. It can be rectified. It is rectified, it is filtered, and you have a Zener diode which will limit the limit the quantity to some value, and it is given to the level detector. So what this level detector does, it will compare two signals. That means one signal for the level detector is the already preset value. The other one is the signal which is coming from the rectifier. So it, in case the measured quantity from the filter circuit is more than the preset value of the level detector 1, it will issue a signal. So that signal will charge the capacitor C of the timing circuit. So when it will stop charging, so this in turn you see the output of the timing circuit is given to level detector. So that means if your voltage across the capacitor will reach or will cross the voltage which is set for the level detector 2, then it is going to send a signal to the amplifier, which in turn will send to the output device and it will trip. So the level detector, the potentiometer which is at transformer and the level detector 2, that is potentiometer 2, they are used for setting the current as well as time. So if we consider Vt is the threshold voltage, Vt is the threshold value of level detector 2, and if Tc is the time required for the capacitor to charge, then the charging time Tc is given by, or the RC timing circuit is given by, Tc is equal to RC to natural log of V by V minus Vt, where V is nothing but the voltage applied to the capacitor. So this is how your definite time over current relay operates. Coming to inverse time static relay, the operating time of the inverse time over current relay, it decreases with the increase in the fault current. It is inversely proportional, right? So for this, what we do is the charging of the capacitor is taken place from a voltage which is proportional to the current which is flowing. So if you see here, again you have the input transformer for which the current is, the input is from the CT, okay, and we have the rectifier filter which performs the same function as I have already told in the previous static relays. So next it will send a signal to the level detector. There you have a potentiometer P1. So this potentiometer P1 will set the current, is used to set the current. So plug setting is done by the potentiometer P1. Under normal conditions, so that is under normal working condition, when the input current is less, then the switch will be usually on. So under normal conditions, switch S1 is on and switch S2 is off, okay. This you have to remember, switch S1 is on and S2 is off. So under normal condition, when switch S1 is on, the capacitor C will be shorted and switch S2 is off. In case the current exceeds the threshold, in case the current exceeds the threshold which is decided by the level detector 1, it issues a signal to switch S1, switch S1 is off and switch S2 is on. So this, the current through switch S2 will charge the capacitor of the timing circuit. So once the voltage across the capacitor reaches the voltage level of the detector 2, it will send the signal to the amplifier, which in turn will send a signal to trip the device. So here both the switches S1 and S2, they are made of static components. So there is two more potentiometers other than P2 and P3. P1 is used to set the plug setting. P2 and P3 they are used to set the time setting of the relay. So we will have a inverse time current characteristics where the voltage is proportional to the current which is flowing through the transformer. Next is the directional overcurrent relay. So in this directional type relays, we use a directional element along with the normal components. So your static type relays, I told you it is having a comparator or nothing but you have a level detector, wherein the comparator, it can compare either the magnitude of the electrical quantity or it can compare the phase angle of the electrical quantity. So here it is mainly we are concentrating on current. So when it is actually the phase which is going to be measured, we measure the angle difference between the voltage and current. So that is what done here. In this directional type relays, I told you have a directional unit. So this directional unit is nothing but it is a comparator which will compare the angle difference between the voltage and the current. So if the phase difference between the voltage and the current exceeds a certain predetermined value and the current is also above the pickup level, then the directional overcurrent relay will operate. So if you observe in this diagram, you have two inputs. One is the current and the other one is the voltage, and both are given to a phase comparator wherein it will compare the phase angle difference between the current and the voltage. So if it exceeds then above a predetermined value, then it will issue a signal to trip, as well as the current which is flowing should be above the pickup value. So this is your directional overcurrent relay. So this type of relay will respond to power flow only in a specified direction. So that power flow in only one direction is determined by the phase angle. So phase angle very less or very large, depending on that the relay is going to operate. So these are the different type of static overcurrent relays which are available.